Hi, my name is Emily St. John Mandel. My most recent novel is called The Glass Hotel, and this is what I'm reading. My first recommendation is Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. The new novel is written in a really kind of interesting experimental way. It often slips into screenplay format, which after I read his bio, and he's been working a lot in TV, so it makes sense. It's hilarious and moving. It's about the way people can be kind of trapped by the constructs around race and ethnicity. It's a character who lives in this sort of surreal world that's a television set, the set of a television show. He lives in an SRO in this kind of imaginary Chinatown. And he aspires to be Kung Fu guy, but often he's background Asian male. Or, he's cast in these roles that have nothing to do with who he is as a person. And what emerges is this really interesting, often funny and ultimately kind of heartbreaking meditation on race and around the ways that our ideas around race can trap us into these sort of outdated ideas. My second recommendation is a novel called The Need by Helen Phillips. It's such a difficult book to describe, which is part of what makes it great. It really didn't remind me of anything else that I've ever read, which is so unusual. You could call it a meditation on motherhood. You could also call it a meditation on multiverse theory. In the novel, there's a woman who's grappling with the challenges of mothering two very young children. And she's working at a kind of archaeological site, this pit, where strange objects are emerging. And what quickly emerges is a little bit of a portal into alternate realities. It's just the most remarkable book. It's so beautifully written. It's very spare. It's a very short novel. And I just found myself completely mesmerized by it. The combination of beautiful writing with really interesting, really big ideas, with this kind of thriller-like pacing. So that was one of my favorite books of the past year or so. The third book that I've been rereading because I loved it is a book called 90% of Everything by Rose George. She's a British journalist. It's a book about shipping, which I hadn't previously known very much about, but she actually spends some time in a container ship. And she talks about that world and about the people who go to sea. The people who piloted your breakfast cereal through the Panama Canal. It's kind of a world that's invisible to us, that we don't think about that much. And she brings it to life in such an interesting and vivid way. And, on a personal note, the reason why I picked up that book in the first place is partly I was interested, but partly I was doing some research for my new novel, The Glass Hotel. And I just found it invaluable, just in gaining a deeper understanding of what the shipping world is.